It's time for accountability. From Memphis to NYC. It's time for accountability. From Memphis to NYC. It's time for accountability. From Memphis to NYC. It's time for accountability. Mayor, it's time for you to do your job.
That's right.
City Council, it's time for you to do your job.
That's right.
In light of the situation in Memphis with the brother Tyre Nichols, who was killed by police brutality, let's start with a moment of silence to recognize what today is for him, his family, his community, and for us. Thank you. My name is Karan Allen. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff for Councilmember Charles Barron. Today marks another day in the long history of police brutality, American police brutality. We come here today not to just give long speeches. We come here today with solutions. We want power, specifically the Community Power Act.
That's right. That's right. Right on.
We're here because a coalition of council members has a dynamic piece of legislation to change the system and protect our people. It is Intro 0463, a local law to amend the New York City Charter and the Administrative Code of the City of New York in relation to creating an elected civilian review board and an independent office for investigating and prosecuting police misconduct.
That's right. Yeah.
The prime sponsors are Council members Barron, Richardson Jordan, Osei, Avilas, Lewis, Hanif, Farias, and De La Rosa. We're going to hear from Council member Charles Barron first.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, we're sending a message today to Mayor Adams, to Speaker Adams, and to the chair of the Public Safety Committee, Hanks. How dare you hypocritically speak about supporting Tyre Nichols and tell us we cannot have a hearing for this piece of legislation. Shame on you.
Shame.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
So today we're saying we're not going to continue to do the same thing over and over again when they murder us and expect different results. They call that insanity. So we want to bring sanity to this movement. So we say when police, who we entrust, not me, but they entrust with 9mm Glocks, they're entrusted with taser guns, they're entrusted with batons, they're entrusted with all of these weapons. Some even have tanks in the precinct. For you to use that against innocent, unarmed people, we say that madness must stop.
That's right.
And this bill says we'll have an elected review board. Right now we have a civilian complaint review board that the mayor picks the members of, the council picks the members for, and once they finish their investigation, guess who it goes to for punishment? The police commissioner.
That's right.
The police cannot police the police.
That's right.
We must dismantle that
Yes.
and have an elected civilian review board. This legislation will do that. All it needs is a hearing passed out of the Public Safety Committee, and on behalf of the family of Nichols in Memphis, pass it here so that we put real accountability in this city.
right.
We're going to march. That's mobilizing. We need to transfer that mobilizing to organizing to hold police accountable. We also want an independent prosecutor's office.
That's right.
Not a special one. The special prosecutor is in the AG's office, Letitia James. She especially doesn't prosecute police.
That's right.
We don't need a special prosecutor's office in the AG's office who doesn't prosecute police, no matter what they do. She has yet to bring one to justice. So we're saying to this city, this is an opportunity now, as in about another half an hour, they'll have the funeral service for Tyree Nichols. We say we expressed our love and heartfelt condolences to the family. And I know some people said they were crying and they couldn't look at the tape. Well, wipe your tears.
That's right.
Wipe your tears and let's get some justice.
That's right.
Wipe your tears and let's do what is necessary to make sure these police are brought to justice. Because our people are tired of dying.
That's right.
And our people are tired of just marching and demonstrating and screaming and hollering, and then nothing happens. And when we say things like, we're not the only ones that can bleed,
That's right.
we're not the only ones that can go to funerals,
That's right.
don't get angry with us. We're giving you the reflection of what's happening in the neighborhoods. The chant is changing from hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe, to hands down, shoot back,
That's
now
right.
you can't breathe.
Let's go.
I heard
Let's
that.
go.
I heard that at a rally. I heard it. I heard somebody said an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth,
right.
and a life for a life.
Come on.
And we're letting you know the reflection, the sentiments of some of the people who are now peacefully protesting. But every time you kill one of us and there's no justice, that gets deeply embedded in the soul of black folks.
That's right.
And it'll take anything, any spark for this explosion to happen. So we're warning New York. We're warning America. The least you could do is have a civilian elected review board.
right.
That ain't even revolutionary.
That's right.
That's right.
That's the very least you could do. The very least you could do is have an independent office to prosecute police. And I also feel they should live in our neighborhoods.
That's right. That's right.
Ban police from traffic stops.
Yeah.
They don't need to do traffic stops. How many of us have died because of a traffic
That's
stop?
right.
Let the traffic agents stop the
That's
car.
right.
Come on now.
So we think that these changes need to become all the demonstrations that are happening, attach these solutions
That's right.
to those demonstrations.
Right.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
Thank you, Councilmember Barron. If we could give another round of applause for Councilmember Barron. It's different when you have an elected activist in office. It's different when you don't have somebody playing politics with our lives and with our communities and with our resources. We thank you, Councilmember Barron, and every other co-sponsor that is taking this stand as a collective to make sure that this goes to pass. And as we know, the elected officials, the elected representatives won't do anything without the movement of the people.
Right on.
The masses of people will make the difference in all of this. Which is why I'm going to call up Lee Gill from the Coalition for an Elected Civilian Review Board.
Afternoon, everybody. Afternoon. Thank you for showing your support. My name is Lee. I am with the Campaign for an Elected Civilian Review Board. We are the group that drafted and brought the Community Power Act to Charles Barron, and he has taken it into City Council, and we together we have built this growing support for community reform. The campaign, on behalf of the campaign, I extend my deepest sympathies to the Nichols family and the friends for the murder of their loved one at the hands of Memphis police. It is the first day of Black History Month, and instead of celebrating Black achievement, we are here yet again mourning the loss of a Black life at the callous hands of a callous system.
Say that, brother.
And while the officers responsible were fired and are currently facing criminal charges, we know that this is the exception, not the norm. We cannot depend on the good graces of police chiefs and internal affairs to hold police accountable. They're too inconsistent. And we can't depend on a more diverse police force to make police conduct fair. All 5 of them officers were Black, beat a Black man to death. Identity politics will not change anything.
That's right.
The system needs to change.
Right on. That's
We
right.
need to establish, I'll echo what Councilman Barron said, we need to establish an independent community oversight of the police with real power to fire and prosecute officers who do wrong and commit crimes against the community. Without accountability, the NYPD and police nationwide will continue to brutalize Black and brown and poor bodies and attack our movements for justice. So we call on Speaker Adrienne Adams to stop her delay game and schedule a hearing on this important bill as soon as possible. We've been going at this for a year now. Missed meetings. We'll wait. People are dying as they wait and sit on their hands. No more. We're done. If those in office here in NYC believe in the people and care about the people's safety like they say, then it's time to give power back to the people. New York City needs real change. It needs the Community Power Act. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
We know that this is going to take a protracted effort of organizing, but the time is right for right now, for this to pass right now. We should not be waiting another day for this to come out of committee. Thank you, Lee. Up next, we have Giselle Hearn from Councilmember Kristen Richardson Jordan's office. Go, Giselle.
When I say people, you say power. People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
People!
Power!
That's what it is. All right. That's what it is. It's about giving the power back to the people over everything that we want in our communities. We really don't need a lot of the crap that's going on to be passed down to us and people saying we have to deal with it. This is a statement written by our councilwoman, Kristen Richardson Jordan. Bringing the police under jurisdiction of elected community representatives will decrease the instances of unlawful police brutality in our neighborhoods. The police must be accountable to the citizens of New York City and not accountable to each other.
That's right. That's right.
The New York City Council bill to create an elected civilian review board, ECRB, will repeal the current civilian complaint review board. Let me repeat that. The New York City Council bill to create an elected civilian review board, ECRB, will repeal the current civilian review board, which is appointed, and create a board designated by 17 designated council districts. The bill will grant the ECRB full control over the police disciplinary process. It will also establish an independent prosecutor for criminal cases against officers acting under the color of law in New York City. The bill will repeal the Independent Police Investigation and Audit Board. Once again, when I say people, you say power. People!
Power!
People!
Power!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Let's go. Right now.
Thank you so much, Giselle. Up next, we're going to have Louis Tejada from the Freedom Socialist Party. Louis?
All right.
Woo. Woo. Woo.
Pass the Community Power Act now. Pass the Community Power Act
Now!
The community cannot wait much longer for police accountability. This country operates on the killing, mass fighting, and incarceration of black men and people of color.
Speak on it.
It is ingrained in U.S. development. The Scorpion Squad is not policing gone wrong. These squads are systematically designed by police leadership in union of powerful developers and politicians to destroy neighborhoods of color and terrorize the people who live there. We're tired of seeing cases like Tyrone Nichols. We're tired of ourselves being brutalized and abused by the police in our neighborhoods. City Council is the only obstacle maintaining us unprotected from the inevitable abuse of the NYPD. We demand the right to defend ourselves from police accountability, from police violence, through passing of the elected Civilian Review Board and an elected prosecutor.
Right on. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Louis. Up next, we have Shavonna Newsom and Hawk Newsom from Black Lives Matter, Greater New York. Oh.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Today, we stand before you demanding that the City Council pass the Community Power Act. We know that the CCRB has no teeth. We know that it was created and padded with friends of the mayor, the police department, and government friends.
Say that.
It does not serve us. There are lists of complaints, but there's been no penalizing of officers. We don't need another Eric Gardner. We don't need another Tyreek Nichols. We don't need another black man or woman dying because of the color of their skin.
Let's go.
They owe us this law. They owe us enough to stop killing our men. People want to talk about protesters and organizers being peaceful, but no one talks about these coward pigs killing us.
Come
Tell
on.
them to be peaceful first. Put a law in place that demands that they be peaceful, that they treat us with kindness, that they protect and serve us. Then we won't have to strike back. This nation won't have to burn. Because nothing happens to marginalized people unless there is legislation in place. Pass the Community Power Act now. We demand it. Okay, Queen.
Today is the funeral for our beloved brother, Tyre Nichols. And it's important that we take some things into account. In one instant, when he was murdered, all the police reform efforts failed. We pushed for body cameras. They did it on body camera. We pushed for more officers responding to the scene. There were a lot of officers present. We pushed for these so-called black cops coming and being able to relate to people. Well, it was black cops who killed him. And if you want to say it in Latin, it's Porcus Africanus.
Speak on it.
Okay? So what we have to deal with is the fact that police reform without teeth is useless. It's useless. You go through this whole process. The CCRB hears the case. They make the recommendations, and New York City does nothing about it.
Nothing.
Okay, they do absolutely nothing about it. You need to give the power to the people. But if you take that power from the city and you give it to the people, then you'll have real accountability.
Right on.
And we all know we won't have real accountability unless we take it.
Take it.
Make no mistake about it. The reason those 5 officers went to jail and the reason 2 more are going to jail is because we ripped this country up in 2020. The difference between 2014, Mike Brown and Eric Gardner and George Floyd was people said enough is enough, and they took to the streets and they stopped commerce and they damaged property.
Right on.
Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to do that before you'll go crazy, right? But what I'm saying is, let's quote the most peaceful black man after Jesus Christ, who was Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. said riots are the voice of the unheard. But everybody want to turn around and play this peace game. Al Sharpton wishing for us to be peaceful in the streets. That coon don't even come in the streets. We outside putting our lives on the line. We outside getting pepper sprayed and arrested. We outside getting hit with batons. Us, we are the people, not these reverends who kiss up to these politicians who allow us to suffer.
And die.
This ain't even for the media. This is for the people. I might as well turn around and talk to y'all, because what I'm speaking is straight facts. You got the media in cahoots with the government, in cahoots with our so-called black leaders.
Speak on it.
And they all do the bidding and speak for the people, but the voices of the people are not being heard. The voices of the people sound like our voices. And what the people are saying right now is, pass the Community Power Act. All power to the people.
Black power. Power to the people.
Community Power Act.
Pass the Community Power Act. Now.
When?
Now.
We're going to keep this movement going, and I want to remind all of us, this mayor, this speaker, all of these politicians, they don't have to look to Memphis for killer cops.
Come on.
They're still roaming the streets right here. 41 bullets for Amadou Diallo. They're still roaming the streets. 51 bullets for Sean Bell. They're still roaming the streets. Eric Gardner's killers, murderers, are still roaming the streets. Delron Spall, murderers, still roaming the streets. So we got to push this movement forward. We're going to go into every borough. We're going to repeat this because the city will not rest. The city should not have business going on as usual when you murder us. And we're not going to sit here and try to plead to you to understand how valuable our lives are. We will let you know when we put our feet down and say, we will not die in vain.
Come on.
We're going to continue to fight for justice. I thank y'all very much. We're going to keep it going. What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.